Hello, everybody, and welcome to Hanging Out with Howie on Monday nights on Disc Jockey News TV. Hey, if you haven't seen the earlier show, they did a virtual training night, and it was about microphone use. Some of it was the actual microphone itself, and some of it was different MC skills. It was a great 2 hours. So check that out. It'll be in the description down below when this video goes to YouTube and Facebook. And with that, we're going to start our show. We have the usual suspects in here this evening. And our topic tonight is going to be, everyone knows the song by Meatloaf. I would do anything for love, but I won't do that. We're going to do a takeoff on that. I would do anything for an event, but I won't do that. So I'm just going to go around the room. We've got a lot of people in here. And I'll start with Jimmy. We're going to do a serious one, something that you wouldn't do for an event.
Set up on a second floor. I will not haul gear upstairs anymore. I'm 55 years old. I have lots of aches and pains. I have very expensive gear, and it tends to get damaged. Just even banging in the slightest little handrail. It just ain't worth it anymore. So, yeah, no stairs.
Alrighty.
Sorry.
We'll move on over to Eric.
So in the past, I've been known to be a little bit of a wild guy. Like I'll try anything once, twice if it feels good, three if there's money involved.
Yeah.
So this one's
$20 is $20.
Yeah, right. So some of these things that we're going to talk about tonight coming from the School of Hard Knocks. And I've made this mistake before, but we've learned from it. If I don't feel comfortable with the event, I politely decline and say, I just don't think we're the right match. Because there are times, and I'll give this one example. I said to the guy, I try to figure out a little bit of like, okay, what are they going to want? What are they going to listen to? I said, if you were to pick your favorite channel on the radio to tune it in, what channel would you tune it into? The guy said NPR. That to me said, I don't think this is going to happen for us. I'm not the right guy for the job. So what I wouldn't do, I wouldn't take a job that I felt 100% confident that I could give them the event that they want.
Good answer. Scott, what have you got?
Well, mine is going to go toward weddings, ceremony. I will not line up a bridal party for ceremony. I've been asked to do that before, and I feel like that they should have an assistant that does that. I'm there to do the music for the ceremony, make sure the officiant is mic'd properly and all of that. But lining up for the ceremony, though, that's not what and I've had that come to me before as a question to do. And I've I tell them even the final meeting now is you're going to have a responsible person to do that. And even if I officiate, that's the worst time to try to do it because you've got other things going on as well. That's one of the things on my topic.
Yeah, that's a good one because how can you be in two places at once? You have a lot to do. So, yeah. Okay, Bill, what have you got for us?
My first one kind of goes to Eric's. It's about comfort zone and about, being the right tool for the right job. And so I will not do a school event or like a child's party where it's children only as the only DJ. If I can have, a more appropriate helper with me, I'll book the event, no problem. And I'll play event coordinator and MC. But I will not do it as the sole DJ.
Good point. Alex from Cyprus.
I think I'll do anything for an event, but I won't set up when there's a risk of danger to either the guests or equipment. Sometimes you get to a venue and maybe there's electrical sockets that clearly shouldn't be used, but you're being asked to use. So, yeah, basically when there's health and safety aspect involved.
Very good. Yeah, that's important. Safety first. Randy, welcome to the room. This is your first time, I believe, in our panel. It's good to see you. What do you got for us?
I'll do anything for a gig, but I won't give kickbacks. You get some of these people that want you to line their pocket. Nah, it's not going to happen. I'll move on.
I'm gonna pile on and say yes. I would definitely do the same way.
Agreed.
Great. Yeah, that was one of the things on my list. Yeah, I don't pay to play. I just don't get involved in that, and
No.
that's pretty big in Jersey, actually. And yeah, hey,
Is it really?
Never.
Yeah, we can make you a preferred vendor if you give me 10%, and I'll.
Get out.
I don't know. No.
Wow.
I know somebody that's dealing with that right now.
Yeah.
Unreal.
All right. So that was going to be one of mine. I'm going to say for my particular pick, one thing I won't do is an event that I'm not qualified for. You have to, as Clint Eastwood once said, a man has to know his limitations. And I've been asked to do mitzvahs. Well, I don't know the Jewish culture, and I've never done that. I don't have any training in that area. I'm not a mercenary. I don't feel I would be a good fit for that, like Eric had mentioned earlier. So I wouldn't. I've declined mitzvahs, and I've just passed them off to other DJs that do them and do them well. And that's the right thing for the client. So we'll go around one more time. Jimmy, you got another one for us?
Yeah, I actually got a couple, but long events, like anything that's 8 hours or longer. In fact, honestly, I'd like to keep my events down to 6 hours. After that, I think it just goes off the rails and nothing good comes out of it. There's nobody needs to dance more than 3 or 4 hours. I'm sorry, and that's just my feeling. That's my personal taste. I just don't feel like I want to sit there for 8 hours spinning music.
That's interesting you should say that, because one of the speakers tonight during the virtual training had mentioned that the age of the people getting married these days now is 30 and up. And when you get to that certain age, they're not raving like they were in college. It's not like a John wedding in Minnesota that goes 7 hours, in most places.
Yeah. I've had brides literally, and they're supposed to go to 11. They'll come up to me at 9:30. They're like, "We're tired. We're out of here. Honeymoon time. Shut her down."
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, and that kind of leaves you short. Where if you had planned, a special ending, you're kind of like, I've had weddings drip out like that as well. They're like, that's it. We're done. And it just petered out. And it's like, oh my goodness, if they could have planned for, and it would have been a little bit cheaper for them too, Right. But anyway, let's go to Eric. What do you got for us for number 2?
So Jimmy's obviously never gone to a VIP party with me in Vegas. 4 or 5 hours. Right. I'm still going, man.
Yeah, you are.
But and like you did say though, I do try to, that last half hour, I have a few songs I like to slide in there. So it really does stink when they end short like that. So, but what wouldn't I do? And I'm going to pigeonhole this. I'm going to bring it right down to a wedding reception. I will not play the bingo caller and call tables. I'm like, can we just send somebody around to invite the people, the guests up to get the food? I don't want to say table number 1. It just seems really tacky to me, and it seems low class. So I always politely refuse again and just say, I really don't want to. I don't want to call the tables, please.
I'll do it myself first. I'll walk around to each table before I'll call.
Yeah. I mean, you and I, Randy, are in the same market, and we do get asked to do that. And I'm like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it.
Mm-hmm. That actually came up during the virtual training tonight. A few people. It was a very interesting night to see 6 different MCs having 6 different styles, and they're from different parts of the country. Like we have people here from different parts of the world. JC's missing tonight from Mexico City, but yeah, it depends, I think, really where you're from. But yeah, the bingo caller thing, yeah, that's just not a thing. I will go to the tables or have an assistant go around and do that. But I like going to the tables because then you get to interact with the crowd.
Sure.
And as one person mentioned tonight during the virtual training, they actually play a game to see who gets to go up next and so forth and so on. There's a lot of ways to do it. I'm not a game kind of guy. That doesn't fly too well in Jersey. They're pretty much like shut up and play music kind of thing. So that's my way of talking. Does go right to the table and stay off the mic. So, all right, we'll go to you, Scott.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to change gears a little bit on mine. Of what events that I just will not do that any longer is school dances. I'm getting older. You know, I just turned 58. So I'm kind of out of the school dances because it's just not a fit, you know, for me any longer with the school dances. I pass on them. I've got a younger guy that he does them. He does a great job. He knows how to deal with them. I dealt with them a few years ago, and I just felt like that's where not being a fit at a certain event, there's nothing wrong with that. And we shouldn't feel like we have to take everything on like that. So that's one of the things that I just don't do that any longer.
So you're being honest with yourself and the client. That's great.
Right. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So one thing that comes up, especially at certain venues where they've put in their own sound system or they're trying to control the decibel level, to keep up with both the theme of the song and the theme of the question for the night, I will not use anyone else's equipment.
Right.
And, you know, specifically the venue's equipment if necessary. Because for one thing, if that venue's been there a while and the speakers have been there a while, the DJ that was in it the night before might have blown them. And so I'd rather have my system, my equipment, my sound, and kind of go from there.
Very good. Randy, we're up to you now.
I won't set my full trailer full of equipment up on a postage stamp. So I do site checks way ahead of time, and the bride and groom know what I'm bringing for equipment. And sometimes these certain banquet managers think that you can set up on a 4x4 piece of carpet, you know, and so you know, doing early site checks really helps with that. And when I get there, you know, I can already say, listen, we've already talked about this. Somebody needs to start moving some tables, you know. So.
Very good. Alex.
All right. Well, this is the problem when you're last tail end Charlie, because obviously you got oh no, okay, Bill's mentioned that, okay, now Eric's mentioned that, okay.
Duck's going last, huh?
Yeah,
I'm actually last.
Okay, so inappropriate requests. I wouldn't do a gig if there's inappropriate requests, either by the couple or maybe from, you know, members of the wedding party. And I'll leave it open as to what you deem as inappropriate requests. But obviously that could be anything from the best man thinking it might be funny to mention previous marriages of the groom and try and then involve me in some way as the DJ. So yeah, to learn when to say no when it comes to inappropriate requests.
Well, okay, I'm last, so I'm going to say the thing I won't do, I never do, because I'm working, is I will not drink with the clients. I've had them come up with the shots, you know, they have trays of Jello shots, everything else, and I politely decline. Come on, it's a party, and I'm going, no, I'm actually working. I was actually cajoled there for a while by someone very drunk, and I said, what do you do for a living? And he says, oh, well, I work, I'm a claims adjuster at the insurance company. I said, oh, big office. Yeah. I said, They let you drink at work? No. I said, well,
This is my office.
Very good, Eric. I knew you'd get it. This is my office.
I'll give you an easy out on that. Just say I take medication and it would make me really sick. And this way nobody can say, oh, come on, go ahead and get sick. No, they leave you alone after that.
Yeah.
Better just say, I'm in the program.
The program, yeah. There you go.
Friends with, what's his name, Bill Wilson or
Yeah,
something?
I'm friends with Bill. Yeah.
I've had to bring,
Well, and I am Bill, so you can just say I'm friends with Bill, and you won't be
I'm
lying.
friends with Bill.
I've had to bring me champagne for the toast, and I pretend like that I'm partaking of it.
Yeah.
I'll walk over later on and just kind of swiftly just put it in the garbage can. I've got something else replacing in a bottle of water, actually, but the champagne.
Yeah, I've had them bring over the champagne, and when they all toast, I toast.
Raise your glass.
Yeah, just raise the glass and set it back down, and the wait staff comes and they take it. And nobody's ever said, well, you ruined it. They're going to have bad luck because you didn't drink it.
Some of that champagne is bad, though.
And I love champagne.
Well, next time I'm going to save it for you. I'll bring it to Atlantic City. It'll be a little stale by August, but
Don't worry, all the bubbles will be out of it. Totally flat.
I mean, to be honest, if that happens to me, I just say, sorry, but I'm driving. And if you just tell them you're driving, a lot of the time they're like, okay, that's cool, man. They understand.
And that's actually true because we're working. What are we doing there? Probably 8 hours minimum with setup and tear down, and then we're driving. So that's another fact. That's
I have a long drive home.
That was how I reminded all the training DJs that the multi-op I started working at. I would very quickly say, our owner says it's okay for you to have a drink while you're DJing because he feels the need to have a drink while he's DJing. He also has a driver. We are mobile DJs.
Yes.
And the mobile part requires you to drive or have a driver. That's up to you.
Yeah.
Here we go. All right. I think we have time. Let's go around and we're going to do something silly or outrageous. It doesn't have to be a wedding, any event. Jimmy, what wouldn't you do that would be either funny or silly?
Lead a dance of any sort, a line dance. None of it. I'm a DJ.
You're not a dancer?
I'm not a dancer. Back in my younger years, I was quite a dancer. Not so much anymore.
Alrighty.
No break dancing.
You know what? So I don't know about you guys, but I'm usually moving a little bit behind the booth. And there are many times people come up and ask me to come out and dance with them. And the only time I will, if it's like the mother of the bride or mother of the groom. So 99% of the time, I will not go out and dance on the dance floor, even though I'm dancing behind my booth. But if, mother of the bride asks, guess what? You do it the mother of the bride asks. So, and it's usually a jitterbug or something easy. But yeah, Jimmy, I'm not going to lead the Macarena anymore. I'm certainly not going to lead the chicken dance, or the hand jive or anything. Unless I've been drinking behind the booth, which that's not happening.
That's the night you have a driver, right?
Yeah.
Because this
is what you're going to get out of me. You're going to get this.
That's it. That's your move.
That's my move. Maybe a little bit of wave. That's it.
We're all in the same direction. Wouldn't do.
All right, let's go to Scott. You got anything funny or silly you won't do for a gig?
Well, and I'm kind of in that league with Jimmy. I mean, at one time, I probably would get out and put the chicken dance costume on and do the chicken dance and all that kind of thing. But I'm kind of following that lead with Jimmy. I don't do that any longer. It's just not, it doesn't look good for a big guy to get out there and do that stuff.
His feathers got plucked.
But yeah, I would definitely not that we promote the chicken dance any longer. That is a taboo now. It's on. It had its time, thank God. But yeah, Jimmy still does it. Yeah, in your area, right? But yeah, I'm on the league kind of where he's at on that respect of doing silly dancing that that just wouldn't do any longer.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a fit for me.
Bill, we're up to you.
We've talked about this in the showroom before. I will not go with the clothing optional option at a clothing optional event.
Mm.
Yeah,
I will.
But nobody needs to see me. I mean, Eric, you're an Olympic athlete. I think it's okay for you to do that.
It ain't as pretty as it used to be. Nobody wants to see me either.
took that one because I had that happen to me at one time 20 years ago.
Okay, Randy, do you have anything funny or silly you won't do?
Yeah, I won't let drunk grandma dance on my speakers, but her slightly more agile granddaughter, maybe.
Maybe. There you go. Alex, do you have anything for us?
I think nobody's mentioned the number one rule in entertainment and television. Apparently, never work with children or animals.
Yes.
I'm not going to do dog shows, dog grooming shows, or I don't do children's parties because I can't be dealing with that, with the chairs, musical chairs or statues, and you have to tell that one child you moved, and it's like you just told them that their puppies died. I can't be dealing with that, I can't do children's parties. Sorry.
Alex, that's excellent because I just changed my answer. I'm surprised Bill didn't say anything about this because he lives and works on a farm, and but this really happened one time, and I will not work with animals either. Yeah, because they actually had horses to come down the aisle for the ceremony, and
oh no,
you know what horses do when they walk along?
Oh no.
It took the romance out of that wedding real quick. People were just laughing because they're facing each other, doing their vows, and the horses are doing their thing. And people were, instead of crying like, "Oh, she's getting married, my baby," they were laughing. It was just, oh my God, it was. Are
you talking little ponies? A little pony or something?
Well, they're up there
they were full size horses. They got married on, they got married on a farm, and that was their dream. But I've done motorcycles too, where they drove down. But then they can shut the motorcycle off, and the worst that happens there, it leaks a little bit of oil.
Nothing comes out of that tailpipe.
hey, Howie.
Yeah, nothing coming out of that tailpipe.
The bride and groom were doing their vows, and horses were moving their bowels.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You can't make this stuff up.
On the bright side, it wasn't an Indian white elephant.
Whoa.
Yes, the Indians are very big on that. It's actually a 2-day event for some of them.
Oh,
Yeah,
Big turd.
that'll make the horse.
Big turd.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the description, Jimmy.
Yeah.
I've been
Color commentary by Jimmy
I've been to
Spin.
the circus. I've seen it. It's not fun.
he was the guy with the wheelbarrow. Don't lie.
All right. Does anybody else have anything else they want to add before we put a fork in this?
I'll just say again, as we all go around the room from different parts of the country, it just amazes me how much we think alike.
Mm-hmm.
And, in this chill room, we've shared a lot with each other over the last 15, 18 months, whatever it's been, but we've learned from each other, but our ideologies, are pretty much the same. I don't know. It just surprises me how much we are alike. We are similar.
Yeah, it is very, very interesting. It's very different from the virtual training tonight, where they had, they were talking MC, and there's 6 MCs, and one would say, well, I do it this way. And then, well, it was just this past week, there was that one thread. I can't remember which group it was. They were, arguing about, that's not my job to release tables and blah, blah, blah. And then others were like, hey, okay, I'll make a game of it, or I'll go to the table. I mean, there's so many, why can't you make it work? Reasons in my head, but I was surprised at how many people were like, how this won't work, and that's the difference in here is we're all like, how can we make it work?
Yes.
How do we make the best of it instead of why it won't work, So that's, I know it really is a very, very neat group. And that's why we have our own show. So with that, we're going to say good night, and we'll see you next time, and we'll have something good for you. Good night, everyone.